Freedom Radio. Freedom Radio News with your presenter Pamudu Jara and your co-host T-Boy alias Tijan Sise. Today our guest is Maristok Jobate, a Gambian politician. He was an independent candidate in the last presidential election in the Gambia. And today we have wonderful questions that we will ask her to answer concerning the current situation of the Gambia.
Yeah, asalaamaaleykum mbokk yi ñoo déglu yéen a ngi déglu Freedom Radio fii si Gambia dina wax ne tey la Wednesday the 12th of March 2025 man maa seen présentateur ñoo fi nekk Pa Modou Jara ak T-Boy maa seen host ñu ngi am tey fii nii nag Mari Sok, Honorable Mari Sok lañ fi am tey on interview man ma suma partner bi Pa Modou ma ne ko tey ñu ngi am a prominent guest fii nii ma ne ko dina neex tey.
Yeah, dina interesting trop parce que currently am na so many questions yu nga xam ne yu nga war a laajte yu war a tontu concerning the current situations of the Gambia. Duñu am lu ñu def rek lu dul rek ñu hand over the mic to Marisok Jobate waaye dañ bugg a xam kan mooy Marisok Jobate ak tamit Marisok Jobate lan moo ko motivé loo ba dugg si political arena bu Gambia bi lan moo ko itteel ba dugg si te tamit bugg a xam tamit tuuti si biographie Marisok Jobate, you are welcome to Freedom Radio News with your presenter Pamudu Jara and co-host T-Boy alias Tijan Sise. Honorable Marisok Jobate, welcome. But we'd like you first to tell us who is Marisok Jobate and what motivates you to enter the Gambian political arena. And we would like also you tell us a brief of your biography. You have the floor.
waaw waaye pa dama foog ne rek balañ ko dugal rek Mari Sok pour askan bi rek ñi nga xam ne xamuñ Mari Sok ñun fala 2022 la woon mooy woon di president independent candidate right waaw pour ñi ko xamul rek ñu dooree foofu noonu waaye si diggante bi dinañ ko dugal waaye pa balañ ko dugal rek yow lan nga foog si Mari Sok yow sa xam-xam rek waaw
Marisok Jobate nekk na mu ngi woon fii si réew bi fii nii mu mujjee tukki dem si diaspora bi waaye politically Gambie bi dem na ba nga xam ne Gambien su nga xam ne réew bi daf leen itteel dañ taka seen ndiga ñu jóg Marisok Jobate bokk na si doomi Gambian yooyu noonu ñu mun a wax ne they are patriotic citizen of this country te tamit they are genuine citizen of the Gambia moom tamit ñëwoon na mu sacrifice time am ak resources am pour gis ne ni daal génnee Gambia si political situation bu mu nekka mun ko isi to a political situation bu nga xam ne moom yëpp la Gambian si di ñaan li taxaw na ba nga xam ne nag ñëwoon na mu taxaw as independent candidate waaye gannaaw gi nag mujjee nañoo gis nag buñ callee for unity mujjee naa dem nag mu sign a memorandum with United Democratic Party gis nañ ne endorse na United Democratic Party ba pare tamit gisoon nañ ne tamit ne during the campaign nationwide effective on na trop te kaddu yu mu doon wax mooy kaddu yu nga xam ne mooy defar réew bi waaye nag duñu am lu ñoo def rek ci boy rek lu dul rek Marisok Jobate mu wax ñu kan mooy Marisok Jobate te tamit lan moo ko motivé loo ba mu dugg si Gambian political arena bi te tamit nañ bugg a tamit mu wax ñu tuuti si biographie am because bugg nañu xam Marisok Jobate parce que 2021 presidential campaign bi nit ñi ñu ngi ko doon digam mu ngi wax te kaddu yu mu doon wax kaddu yu nga xam ne yu am solo la duñ am lu ñoo def rek du rek ñu jox mic bi Mariso Jobaate mu introduce boppam. You are welcome, Mariso Jobaate.
Right, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum, Gambians, Gambians at home, Gambians abroad, di leen nuyu yéen ñëpp comme ni mu ko wax rek maa ngi tudd Mariso judo Banjul yero Banjul ak si kombo gi jàngee Banjul KG from KG nag ma dem ba primary 5 nag ñu yóbbu ma St. Teresa's ma def fa suma last year primary 6 then delluwaat St. Joseph's High School fi ma jeexalee suma high school education so basically foofu mooy woon suma junior class studies si Gambia so mu nekk introduction bu gàtta rek juddu nag number 2 Makati Square ñëpp xam nañ fi Makati Square nekk is just by the how do you call it fi park bi nekk waaw so basically that's Mariso from loolu nag from there ma door nag di liggéey I did 2 years though of art certification because I was a very brilliant art student ma def ñaari years yoo xam ne ñeneen dañ demoon form 6 man nag I went and did 2 years course on art and there was an art school in the Gambia that I did which was my work was presented even at that time at the Ministry of Education as one of the best art designers in those days then after ma liggéey from liggéey boobu nag ma continuer foog naa through liggéey boobu sax laa jànga a lot and became a businesswoman so liggéey na Atlantic Hotel through a very dynamic woman Auntie Janke Tal dama di turam all the time from foofu tamit liggéey na Novotel as a hostess for a la carte liggéey na tamit in Senegambia but then I owned a shop there with a friend I was a small partner to a friend man maa daan design bu bay su ma ko designé ñu aj ko ñu label ko ñu jaay ko so we've always had this business mind around us and then later tamit dama daan indi pineapples I used to bring a ton of pineapples a week to the Gambia the supply hotels here all the major hotels from Keraba to Senegambia, Sunwing and all I used to supply them pineapples from Conakry it was not easy because I'm put them big Conakry and then visit farms in Conakry and talk to the farmers so that I can get it directly from the farm and then it could be nice and very well for the Gambian tourism industry and from there as well I worked for some classes as well in those days computer amuton why madam ma trained suma bopa ma fayal suma bopa I trained and I got certification in those days it was MS-DOS and then basically computer skills and stuff which was through the Pitman exams so I got my certification through all of that from there tamit ma liggéey at Louis Dias I was a secretary and then in 1992 I was a partner at Louis Dias so around 1992 1990 ba 92 dañ daan dem di ñëw 1993 finally I moved from the Gambia and I lived in the Canary Islands but prior to that I traveled there a lot and to other countries as well now in the Canary Islands in 3 months before I acquired a business which I had to lobby for and it was a challenge why yàlla dimbale ma win lobby bi and then from there within 6 months I'm for 3 businesses one was in a major hotel Playa Canarias the other one was in a very big how do you call it tourist attraction place they have about over 4,000 tourists a day Sadauda Keraba Jawara was the one that inaugurated that boutique that I owned. Actually, the owner had it, and we partnered earlier in the late 80s and 90s, and Sadauda inaugurated it. And later, I was the sole owner of it by the time I moved to Spain. So time moves, I think then you Gambian see, put new ligue eta fufunun si store because it was the only African store in the Loro Park. The place is called Loro Park. It was the only African bazaar, and it was owned by me. And then I had a bodega inside the same hotel, a bodega selling all the wines and cigars and mojo, the salsas from the Spain, basically the natural or local produce of the 7 islands of Spain. So that was in the shop that was called the bodega. And in so saying, at that time, I employed over 16 Spanish people. So I was well recognized because I contributed into the development of Spain as well. So from Fofu, my dandem dinyo back and forth as well to Africa, all over Africa, traveling and getting some stuff for the stores and so forth and so on. I did travel to the U.S. and opened a business in the U.S. in 1999. But then I moved to the U.S. in 2000. And then from there, I continued with the business. And then again, because I came so late in the U.S. and I'm always in business, I decided to work also in stores like Chesapeake Bay, in St. Michael's in Chesapeake. I worked there for a year, then moved to, to Illinois. Prior to moving, I did work as well as a telemarketer, which was a challenge, but I did so well that they offered me a very high position. I couldn't take it because I had to move to Illinois, but I was one of the best, and I sold basically books to the point where they used my module to promote that. Then I moved to Illinois, and in Illinois, I worked at the car dealership. I did the exam to, you have to do like a test because I didn't know anything about cars. And I went and did the classes and then did the test. I got certified. With that, I now went to Ford dealership. It was Sutton Ford at that time. And I applied for the job. I got it. I also went and did another certification. So I was a blue-collar certified car dealer for Ford. And I worked there for over a year. I was really a very good car salesman by the time I was done. Then from there, I now had a partner business with a friend of mine in the real estate industry. Time Bobu Real Estate was Nehona Industries. So she owned a mortgage company. And prior to that, I worked for another mortgage company, for say, Mabai Fufu Maligayak Mom, because it was more, it was more like a partnership, more modern deaf mortgage. I was a loan solicitor, which I gave my loan solicitor's license for that. So we worked very well to that till I think in 2007, when I now opened my own business, which was the Chicago Top Models at the time. It was challenging, but I had that business. And through that business, last summit in 2011, I came back to the Gambia for the first time after so many years, put in the I project to the Gambia, so forth and so on, which led now to me coming back and forth. And then 2013, when my dad passed away, I came over to basically laid him to rest and then met with the former president. And then, hey, here I am in the Gambia still. Basically, in a nutshell, that was my round-the-world trip to and from and back to the Gambia.
Thank you very much. That was a wonderful introduction. Gis nañ ne Marisol jaar-jaaram bari na experience te tamit academic achievement am tamit gis nañ ne tamit fit na tamit pour mu nekk politicians te gis nañ ne tamit nekk na nit ku nga xam ne tamit tamam yëpp daf ko spend usefully te ñu ngi tamit ñaan yàlla sa daat bi nga xam ne moom jotoon naa génn àddina dikees ago yal na ko yàlla xareel arjana te njobootu mbaay gannaaw tamit yal na leen yàlla sàmma.
amiin
waaye ba tey
génn àddina ñoom ñaar yëpp dem nañ.
yal na leen yàlla xare arjana yal na leen yàlla xare arjana. we are very sorry for that loss. ba pare nag ba tey nañ bëgg a tamit rek nga wax ñu lan moo la motivate loo ba nga dugg si Gambian political arena.
Well, li xew in 2015 bi ñëpp di wax ne xam nga nit ñi dañ soona dañ bëgg a change so forth and so on ma decide ne ok maa ngi Gambia it will not make sense ma toog defuma dara xam nga man tamit foog ma seet lan la war a yokka si li nga xam ne moom la Gambian si yëpp di jooy so noonu laa demee nag Bachili Musa Bachili I think you know him he's like a junior brother because Musa Bachili ñun rek a nekkoon aku yi nga xam ne ñu ngi dëkkoon si seen kër suma parents yi dañ doon rent foofu si kër papaam and we became like a family xam nga so suma yaay nag educate all of them dafa eewu benn bis rek yóbbu ñoom ñëpp school so against Musa Bachili's grandfather's request she went and took everybody to school because she was then the principal of Ndaus. So Musa Bachili and from then it's like my little brother because Marco Danti because you school because he was very stubborn. So my day game man ko what day na maybe in the old you they carry you go school. So anyway, he invited me, Munema Nanyo si party bini, and it's a growing party. Manyo said he knows that I can be of great support and help. Lan la ci muna def. So non lañ demé nak ndaysan mu introduce ma ak Mama Kande GDC. And then I listened, and then I said, okay, this is a great place, and this is something that I can work with. So I was there politically supporting, helping time GDC register Wutsa. You know, it was not registered yet. And we did a great job, you know, working and doing a lot. You know, I did a lot in GDC. I think that is where I acquired the name Iron Lady. Then from there, Mabai, and then years later, after the elections and everything, 2016, new Mudem, everything, years later, I'm Benin Party, Niko a National Unity Party, ñun tamit ñoo ko sos that time I think ñoom Tony Tabal ñoom dañ génnoon GDC ñoom ma ñang invite ma pour ma jàppale leen ñu ne dañ gisab ni ma set up on fii naka tuddaati this GDC ñu ooma pour ma taxaw ak ñoom jàppale leen def the same ak ñoom so ma ne leen what you know I'm just tired because it's more or less the same thing you know it's just recycling and you know no dina ute blah 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 ni lañ ko defee and Tony's idea was brilliant and we elaborated on Tony's idea but then by the time we went deep they started doing some changes and typical political games and all that so Tony buy ma buy so that was that and of course they continued with it and changed the logo so bima gisee loolu yëpp I was tired and then I said I'm out on this Gambian politics because it's all the same game it's just like they're trying to always take, you know, just an old wine and taking new bottles and just filling, you know, that saying, old wine in a new bottle type thing. So, man, you know what? I didn't come here to be, you know, jumping around and doing this. This is all mind games. So I stayed at my office, started doing my charity because I've always been doing my charity work every year. Whatever I make, I take about 20% and I give out. I do donations to Tanka and all these other places, wrestling matches and all that. Then you see at the end of the new Ben Bisma office, you know, ñoom gisatuñ ma ci political arena bi. Man leen waaw because political arena bi is all the same. It's some are in it to make money, you know, to squeeze money out of you. Some are in it just giving a heart. And then they don't even want to read their manifesto. They don't want to read their constitution. Or everybody's just wanting to be a king. So I didn't come here to do that. So gars yi nag ñun déedéet ñun dañ ñëwoon sax pour waxtaan ak yow parce que yow yaa ñu daan motivate te gisatuñ la man leen well lii mooy reason bi moo tax ma toog so finally they said okay they went back and forth one day they came they said ñun dañ ñëwoon pour propose pour taxawal la I said déet dimbale leen ma you know I didn't come here to be a president or anything it's too much so back and forth ndeysaan xale yi di wóor di dem si kaw di ñëw seen parents yi ñëw families yi ñëw elders yi ñëw wax over 3 months finally ma ne leen I will only stand as an independent candidate because Gambia li ma fi study I've done a case study and I see that Gambians are also hurt and there's no unity anymore Gambia bi ma fi bàyyi woon du benn bi nga xam ne moo fi am tey so in order for anyone to be able to rule or be a leader here in this country we have to call for unity. And in order for us to have unity, Pogmatahaw as an independent candidate, and then you form a movement. When that way we do away with this political party system because Duganasi political party system, the constitution for the political party alone, the political party constitution, more is all centered towards creating a dictator. Because and then there's too much how do you call it? It's marginalizing the youth and the women as well, you know. So I said, this is not a way forward for Gambia. the political party constitution is not forward leading, or is not a forward way for the Gambia, because there's already a segregation inside the constitution of the political party system. For you a movement, then you are an independent candidate, then the whole Gambia will rally behind the independent candidate under that movement. I said that is the only way we can bring unity. Then it's not about this one is here or this one is there, or he tribe bila or tribe balila. Because man yima bokal dañ bari. Te bu fekkene dañ buga bom political party, it will be labeled as a fuller party or as an Aku party or so and so. So finally they agreed and said yes, they are, they also like that. And that's how the journey started. So I drafted the document, the manifesto for them, which it took me almost a year to draft it, and then it took us a whole 2 years to now work on the framework. Everyone participated and contributed, and it took us about 2 years to finish our manifesto, because I felt that a manifesto of a country should not be 1 or 2 pages or 3 pages. It should be so that when you read it, it's like a road map. It can help you. Even if you forget, you can go back and say, hey, this is what we wanted to do. This is how we're going to do it. So it's a roadmap. And even if we go into the government, or if we go into the presidency and we see that everything we wrote is there, it's just a matter of now, how do we implement it? And we have that so that we can now implement things. So basically, that's how that journey started. Non-line start journey, Bobuno.
Thank you very much. Just to remind you that you are listening to Freedom Radio News with your presenter Pamudu Jara and your co-host T-Boy. And our guest tonight is Marie Sop. But I would like to ask you the first questions, but I would like you to be very precise in answering the question, because we have so many questions here to put before you. So maybe you can only spend in each question you can spend maybe 2 minutes there to answer it. And then my first questions, and I would like you also to speak the word of dialects.
Okay. Yeah,
my first question is that my first question is, how did you see the political climate of the Gambia in terms of political rights of the citizen? Ngir soko sété politicians yi ñu nga xamné dañ leen dé jota elect into office, citizens yi dañ leen dé standing carte té ñom loolu lañ bëggat. But nak on the contrary nak day gis ne tamit politicians yu nga xamné elect nañ leen into office duñ dé consider their electorates. Té tamit gis nañ ne tamit electorates yi ñom tamit most of them are not voting very wisely. How did you see that political climate of the Gambia concerning the citizen rights?
Well, the problem we are having in the Gambia, I think, one, the IEC has a role here to play, because they want to sensitize Nini Buba, understand that? The sensitization being the power happened since actually 2016, because in 2016 we ushered change. To change both with the in the one poor guy, all these kinds of reforms, some electoral reforms, the ugly, all that should have been part and parcel of how do we now sensitize our populace. Naka lañu sensitize suñu nit ñi pour ñu xam lan lañ wara look for and how they need to vote, and and how to vote, and then be inclusive. You understand? Why, unfortunately, loolu yëpp xewut. So right now we still have people, because don't forget that we're coming from the Jammeh era, where we had, first we came from Jawara era, where it was like 30 years, right? Then you took us to Jammeh, 22 years. So Nini, they don't know the criteria of a leader. Because Jawara, they don't know what transpired for Jawara to become a head of state. You understand? Then ñu bari ñi nga xamne ñoko féké nekkatuñ fi wala buñ fi nekké they're too old or they don't talk about it. Then nga am from the time of Jammeh ba légui time Jammeh 22 years yoy nonu, there was nothing like that. It was just one leader. You understand? And the leader was basically doing what he was supposed to do as far as his own constitution was concerned. You understand? So there was nothing to sensitize the populace on how to vote. All they saw was this, this king, and this king that was helping or supporting women or doing this and doing that. And that is all they see. And then you have to wear this haftan, you have to hold this kurus, or you have to, so no, their idea of a leader is not based on the policy. Understand? It's not based on policy. It's not based on programs. It's based on how you look or how you dress or how you talk. Although munala wahlena right now gayange janga because gis nañ ne 2016 ñu ngi dugal government ñu duga government bobu nonu 3 years ñu promise génnuñ then ñu continue and now they're realizing ñu ngi eewu because ñu bari seen doom yi ñu ngi bitim réew te ñu bari ñi seen doom yi dem bitim réew ñu ngi leen a eeda ne hey bàyyi leen xel si ñii buñ ñëwee kii xoolal léegi suñ naam si mënuñoo làkka read sax li nekk si document bi suñ lii mu ngi lii now this is why we are failing because ñii sax xamuñ dara comme you have an advisor koo xam ne mu ngi dem America xam nga di def yenn yi so all these people are picking on it now and being smart on léegi dañ war a xoolaat suñ jiiti bu baax xam nga dañ war a vet suñ jiiti bu baax so the talk is in the ground they're beginning to learn but it's a difficult learn it should have come from the IEC to sensitize or all these so-called CSOs in the country to sensitize pour ñu sensitize nit ñi pour ñu wax leen lan mooy criteria yi pour ñu votal nit si biir office lan lañ war a xool even from councillors to NAMs and all of that.
Thank you very much, Marie Sok. I think Tijan will ask you the second question. Tijan, you have the floor.
Yeah, jërëjëf pa ma nuyu suñ guest bi suñ special guest bi ñun moom mbokka lañ nag waaye bi moom question yi duñ xool mbokka fii Marie na nga def welcome to Freedom Radio Marie ma def ko lu gaaw rek first question bi mooy di talk of the town fi mu nekk because of ñun gis nañ ne diaspora bi yow mi sax yow time fona bi nga nekk tamit sax si diaspora bi mun nga fana attest ne sax yow sax contribute nga because Gambia time boobu ñëpp a contribute pour génne dictateur bi waaye gis nañ ne Barrow bi mu njëkkee toog sax si la njëkka jox diaspora bi gannaaw sax waaye fi mu nekk moom dafa mel ni ne fi mu nekk gaa ñu ne xaw ma xar bi rey na ko waaye fi mu nekk ñu ngi ko grill so gis nañu 2025 fi mu nekk moom sax ñoom sax ñoo nañu members of parliament te yow you are aware of the members of parliament ak house bi meetings te demee yow sa experience rek ak yow li nga witness why guy vote against the diaspora ba pare ñi ëpp ñëpp ñi vote NRP la ak NPP.
Well, man betuma because already in 2021, even when them back up to 2016, being toge, before you talk, being sohle halis, you sohla ndimbal, diaspora bi, ñoo def noise, ñoo yëngal everything, man si diaspora bi la jóge, waaye maa ngi woon si ground bi, xam nga di jàppale si political parties man tamit I was part of that change man génnuma fii sax ba day before ñu close border yi te li tax ma génn sax mooy because American ambassador bi daf ma woon ne su ma génnu te maa ngi put my children to risk waaye dama bañoon a génn because I wanted to be here dama génn rek ñu close border bi but the fight was ñun ñëpp a ko yëg ñun ñëpp a ko feel some of us were here and some of us were not so biñ toogee ba pare sax di diaspora yi nga xam ne ñoo xeex ñoo def yëpp ñëwaat waaca tey di nga laaj diaspora yu bari yoo xam ne indi nañ fi contract indi nañ fi deals yu baax a baax pour dëkk bi dem kanam because they were expecting now ne ñun xeex nañ pour def lii ñun tamit nañ leen nekk part of the change and they basically rejected them or they did not listen to them because they felt if you're not in this part of this then you're not so the diasporans were very disappointed. That was the number one naka tuddaati or bi nga xam ne moom lañ or diasporan si then ñu toogaat 2021 ñu foog ne okay now 2021 at least buy ñëw dinañ def reforms bu ko defee ñu include diaspora voting so ñu ngi wax 2016 ba yàlla def 2021 ñëw unfortunately it was not even mentioned or catered for so man si suma booba in 2021 before 2021 laajte naa ñu ne budget bi waaw amuñ budget so after 2021 man tam laajte naa waat man leen well I hope ne by 2025, because right now do len talk by 2025 gena ne amulen budget. So from here on 2021 fi be 2025 hana war ngena set naka ngena defé pour diaspora yi vote, and lolu mom kolon na sax di IEC ma waxtana nit fofu mané ko war ngena try it, because now you have enough time pour ngeen mëna def lolu ngeen set naka ngeen ko include bu ko defé mu dugal sax ci budget bi mu ne oh yes, definitely we are really working on it, and this time by 2025. So I was I was disappointed, but also I was not surprised ne li hewna te the problem is man lima de merlo Gambia te li du time how do you call it, Adama Barrow rek la xew li mu nge dem on since time Jammeh, and even before. Every time suñ Gambian brothers and sisters in Neka office, they get intimidated, and it got worse actually in this Barrow government. It got really bad. They get intimidated by the people from the diaspora. It started even time Jammeh, Gambia dañoo intimidated so much by the people from the diaspora. Foog ne dañoo ñëw pour jël seen liggéey, dañoo nangu seen liggéey, because of course we are from the diaspora. Liggéey nañ ci diaspora bi, jàng nañ ci diaspora bi. Ñun we know game. So ñun sax xam nañ fan la, and we don't take some of us, most of us will not take no for an answer, or we will see the 90s game. We can see through them. So when you come like that, of course, they get intimidated. So because they get intimidated, they now put a barrier between you and them. Now you're nothing but a foreigner in your own land. Yeah. And I'm talking from first-hand experience.
Yeah, that's so.
So now you're nothing but an enemy of the state. Then God talks and you know like Suma Marcy, then you are still here. We didn't scare you away, or we didn't run you away. I said, me, I'm from Chicago, I swam with the sharks. So you are nothing but guppies to me, But we need to sacrifice, and one land we are here to stay. This is our country. Duñ nekk bitim rew di xex. Di wone ne we are these black people, we are powerful, we are this and that. Man, I fought all my way in America to prove that I'm not this typical black woman. I fought because of my business. I was all the time fighting. Ma wara ñew suma deka di xexati. That's not possible. So man, I'm not surprised. I'm just upset. Ba pare ñi nga xamne ñoo nekk ci National Assembly bi, ñi nga xamne tay dañ tok vote. Now they're coming out and saying, well, they were misled. Some said, well, they didn't understand, blah, blah, blah. There's so much narratives. No, the problem and the language that was put in front of them. And that is what we need to ask ourselves. Te man muson na ko latte mané political parties yi ni di select National Assembly yangi am political party bo xamné political party bu mag la da nga wara am some kind of class sessions prior to NAM's elections to say, hey, whoever wants to be part of the National Assembly, we are conducting some training so that you guys can go through and understand your role as a National Assembly before you're elected. Even if you select 50 people in your political party, by the time the elections are, you got some good candidates so that if they come with jargons or whatever, they can understand the language and they can vote for the people, because then you can vote for askan. The same with councillors.
Yeah.
Why, unfortunately, we have a lot of them that are in there that the language is a problem. Some of them can speak big words, but whether they even understand the big words
yeah.
they speak.
Marisol, the next question is, what are your observations in terms of the destructive politics in the country? Ngir soko sété 2016 coalition bi dañ promise on Gambian si ni lu bari lañ leen promise ba par tamit at the beginning dañ promise Gambian si ne ñu unite ñu sànni leen carte Gambian si unite sànni leen carte gaay am a landslide victory waaye ñoom unity boobu noonu bu gaay put on to the Gambian people ñoom seen boppa buñ formé a government unite because gis nañu ñoom neen setopante ñen foofu noonu ba pare ñu bari dismiss nañ leen dem nañ ba nga xam ne ñoom dañ form kabudu si government bi loolu taxaw na ba nga xam ne seen government bi was a very destructive government because pillars yi yëpp a dem te tamit gisoon nañ ne tamit gars yi putoon nañ tamit Gambia in a very standstill situation mooy ne time yi vice président seat bi parce que gis nañ ne it takes some months How many Gambians did you have? Over 2 million Gambians. Gambia ñu mëna wax ne gisuñ kenn ku nga xamné ne qualified na pour mu nekk vice president. But they put the country into standstill. Mu dem be so many months just to change it.
All these so-called political parties, when they go into the system, it is all about the party. Hey, bu fekkee ne yow yaa ngi oote unity. I'm like any Gambian. And then all these ministers right now inside the government, they're all part of the party. And that is already wrong. It's a wrong system. Now, when the NPP did their, how do you call it, their National Assembly, when you look at the National Assembly, it was full of our executives. It was full of our executives. The limo neka di Gambia. The young back to 2016, the promise they made to the people. The promise they made to the people was, we are bringing unity, we're going to do reforms, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. In 3 years, the president is going to come down. We can sit here and say that every day and hitting that hammer and, just coming and, basically hitting the hammer over the head all over again. But it is the same thing. 2016, they got the agenda to take Jammeh out, but then they failed in doing what they promised the people that they're going to do it. And all of them collectively, period. And then they end up taking positions which was not part of the plan. So that is where the mess up happened. And since they took office and took positions, now those positions, we wondered why at the time that all of them took positions, they failed woefully because they were not working. They only took them for strengthening their party. You have a seasoned politician that said that the Foreign Affairs Office and the foreign bureaus were mostly for strengthening his political agenda, because that was what they were political appointees. If you say that those positions are political appointees, no wonder the president now too is saying that he's staying in the office to strengthen his political party. And this is why I'm saying, until we get rid of this political party system and we go this to 2026, we go in with a movement and one candidate, we are not going to break this cycle. It has not worked before, and it is not going to work, and it's never going to work. Because the political party system that we have in the Gambia has been designed since colonial era. And it is so. It is one man controlling the status quo, and everybody follows suit. The women will continue getting marginalized. The youth will continue being marginalized. Until we break that and have a movement, ñu mëna change system bi, ñu mëna xoolal reforms yi, ñu mëna jagarat suñ laws yi, mëna change everything. Loolu mooy yóbbu Gambia right now. Waaye li fay xew nii is just a cycle. Keneen ku toogee the party dañ ko dëgëral, ñu dëgëral party bi because party bi dafa young. It's the same thing. Thank
you very much.
If you keep doing something the same time all the time and it's not working, you need to change the game. So obviously, they disappointed the Gambians, they disappointed everybody because the unity they call for is not there. Their type of unity is Kaiboka. That is not unity. Unity is not Kaiboka. Unity danga ubi danga yatal. The vice president position, you could have selected any other Gambian, and they don't necessarily have to be part of your party. They don't.
Jerejef Marisok Jobate, just to remind you that you are listening to Freedom Radio with your presenter Pamudu Jara and co-host T-Boy. Li nekk na lu nga xam ne ni moom dafa doy waar because spending time pour appoint vice president, waaye vice president boobu nag buñ ko appointé ba pare yàggu fa tamit, so time buñ westoon yëpp dem na si zero. I will now hand over to T-Boy for T-Boy to ask you the next question. T-Boy, you have the floor.
Waaw jërëjëf Pa, jërëjëf honorable, ma ne ko next question bi affaire éducation bi lañ bëggoon a wax rek parce que ñun gis nañ ne time yi Jawara primary school lañ amoon, Yaya bi mu ñëwee dafa change yëpp, am na ñuy wax ne nag lim ko change tax na ba time yi Jawara sax ñun dañaan compete si West African Examination Council yëpp di nekk si kaw waaye time yi yaaya daal affaire yi lifin noonu ndax xëj na lim ko change moo lifin because gars yi ne education is the key normally waaye ñu ne after Jawara daal dafa mel ne kii bi daal dafa roasted daal dañ ko luy sa xalaat daal si education system bi.
Well, education system bi nga xam ne moo fi nekkoon time yi foog naa bi Jammeh indi bi ñoo ron I think moom la ñoo ron ba tey it's not working. I don't know what is going on. Maybe time Jammeh mu doon dox waaye right now it's not working because time Jammeh most of the time I wasn't here. But what I'm seeing right now is a disaster. What I'm seeing right now is a disaster. Nothing is happening and nothing is working and we need to change it. Man nag dama am a very good educational program si suma li ma study si Gambia ma gis because fortunately for me maa ngi jógee si family boo xam ne they are teachers suma yaay teacher la ñaata at suma aunties as well so I myself taught at Mrs. Ndau's for 2 years but it was just for early child education so we need to change the game of education bu ko defee tamit suñ doom yi suñ jàngee bu fekkee ne tamit jàng nañ ba egga ba dem si university level ñu am système boo xam ne tamit those universities are recognized internationally or those education that they have here is recognized wherever they go in the world they can find jobs but mostly when we have also corporate companies coming to the Gambia they can work in it so we have a very good educational system nga xam ne we are going to start with early child development which amoon nañ loolu time boobu noonu maa ngi remember Ndaws we had early child development xale bi dafa dem daycare from daycare it transits to primary 1 to two years they start learning the ABCs and stuff like that so by the time they are 2-3 you see they move them and that is what you call ECD which is early child development from foofu nag xale bi dem si class 1 in those days xale ge dugga class 1 at the age of 5 right now I think the children are starting at 7 or 8 which is very late because xale yi léegi dañ mature torop dañ gaaw a mag torop so that is too late for the child to start school then system education bi boo jeexalee school right now you don't have any there's no it's dafa mel ni da nga jeexal school amuloo sax job skills amuloo dara so there's absolutely nothing preparing them even when they finish university there's nothing absolutely preparing them for the job market. So there's no skill centers because du ñëpp a mun a pass exam. In my time, boo demee primary school, boo jeexalee, boo citee sa exam, boo passutee pour dem high school, the scores were very, very high. Dañ laa yóbbu kon nga dem comme Crab Island or nga dem comme, they were junior highs, junior secondary school. They call them secondary school. So fekkee ne pass loo pour dem high school, da ngaa dem secondary school. Now, boo demee si secondary school bi nga egga form 3 or form 4 foog naa form 4 la daan em nga sit exam boobu nga pass mun nañ laa yóbbu to high school so we had even people yoo xam ne dañ ñëwoon St. Joseph's in those days ñun ñu ngi woon form 2 or form 3 they came and they were older than us and they came to we were in form 1 and they came but they were far older than us but they came from other schools like Crab Island and stuff like that and they continued their high school there so that system was a good system because at least joxoon nañ la opportunity boo xam ne bu fekkee ne méeguloo ko pour high school you have an option to go to a junior high and then from there also su fekkee ne passuloo pour junior high they send you to skill centers understand nga so even in our schools even in high schools dañ amoon skill centers St. Augustine's ñu ngi amoon metal work ñu ngi amoon carpentry ñu ngi amoon all that St. Joseph's the girls we had sewing we had cookery we had all of that whilst we are studying and you have to do one of them because it was compulsory. So ñi nga xam ne tamit mënuñ woon a def dara wala passuñ anything they send them to skill centers.
Right. Why honorable
but right now it's not there.
Yeah, why honorable am na guy ñuy wax tamit ne because of the system moo tax ba xale yi they are not so having so that energy daal pour even jànga because gars yi ne da ngaa jànga ba pare nga toog doo am liggéey.
moom laa wax nii xam nga tey su fekkee ne yow yaa ngi jàng ba pare yow yaa ngi dem school di jàng teacher bi laa tig sax yow yaa ko gën a xam wala yow yaa ko gën a eew. What that does to a child is the child gets bored.
Right.
The child is not challenged enough. The teacher is not challenging that child. So, and when that child starts getting bored in class, the next thing that is happening is the child is going to get absent. We are getting parents in the school. No, that child is intelligent, but they're not challenged enough.
Right. Jerejef ma hand over to Pa.
Thank you very much for answering that question.
Program when it comes to education, our education is going to start from the ECD. Then we're going to start from the tertiary level, and then the intermediary, and then the higher level. From there on, inside the schools, we're going to do the same thing that we used to do, which is all the skills. We're going to have skill-based education also in the schools. After school, you're going to do internship. We're going to mandate all students to watch and you them def internship, whether it's in government offices, whether it's in the police or in the army, wherever they're going to do internship. And that internship, depending where they finish, we're going to high school they'll do 2 years. If it's a university, they'll do a year. What that does, it prepares them also for job opportunities, because now they have experience. They have experience at a work where it's all done through internship, and it will be mandatory. Te lolu tamit lim dee def day wàññi volume bi nga xam ne more graduate pour uti liggéey, because tey su fekkee dañ graduate over 200 lawyers, wala ñu graduate 200 whatever, ñoom ñëpp mënuñoo dem am liggéey. So something has to be done. Some of them graduate but they don't have the experience. So these are people now you can allocate, for example, in the judiciary system to do their internship or whatever, or you can send like these nurses graduate like them, the operating in the days and classes being done. They don't have even apparatus to practice on those apparatus. You send them to do their 1 year or 2 year internship before they can be more qualified to be out on the field. So we have that. And then we have a back to school program. We have a lot of young people. You have then test an exam, because of Munin Coffee, they cannot get a job because their certificates gain. So, for example, we're going to forgive those loans, and we're going to have those kids get their documents. We're going to make some kids get your exam. You there's some crash course, and then they get their certificates, their high school diplomas. So we are going to make sure no child is going to be left behind. We're going to roll out a big back to school program, even for adults as well, because we need an educated Gambia. Do rek moy dimbali dëkk bi mu dem kanam.
Jërëjëf si kaddu yooyu noonu loolu rek mooy mun a dimbali dëkk bi pour mu dem kanam. Waaye nag soo seetee the economic situation of the Gambia, pour économie bi dëgër, those in office should not embezzle the public fund. Department government bi tamit grant suñ dee jël loan suñ dee jël outside tamit dañ ko war a def fuñ ko war a defee te tamit public enterprise yi yu mel ni comme Gambia Ports Authority yu mel ni comme NAWEC and etc. ñooñu yëpp dañ war a operate on profits. They should not operate on losses. ba pare tamit soo ko seetee tamit state bi tamit as a government ñoom tamit seen dépense tamit war nañoo gis ne tamit bu ëppa. The three branches of the three arms of government, or the three branches of government, let's say, comme National Assembly, we want to defar ay law yu nga xam ne dañooy chargé seen poste di kasaara resource réew bi cabinet bi tamit ñoom tamit seen budget suñ ko defar tamit wañu ñoo dem out of the frame delivery pour rek mun a feesal seen poste. Based on all that, how did you see the current national economy of the Gambia? What is your take on the national economy?
Well, the national economy of the Gambia, when you ask the city government, they will tell you that this is the best economy. But when we are sitting out here and we're looking, we're like, what is going on? Because we don't even know what they're doing and what is going on. All we see is that all our state-owned enterprises are being basically mortgaged. And when we say mortgage, it's because when we sit and we see ports, 30 years, airport, 30 years, Bakau beach front, fishing area, 30 years. All 30 years to who? All foreign nationals. some people that have not even qualified or ñi nga xam ne sax seen bid bi or seen bid bi qualifying or submitting everything, they still give them a waiver. And then the money they're making out of these state-owned enterprises that is basically mortgage, turns out to be very minimal. To loolu du mun a yóbbu dëkka. If for example, Post was making over $1 billion, now you give it out only to making 200 million. I mean, where is the sense of that? So these are things that the state-owned enterprises have to be empowered. We have in our policy how we're going to make sure that you're digital state-owned SOEs, which is like Gamcel, NAWEC, Ports Authority, Social Security and Housing Finance. All these DCCA, all these are state-owned. You understand? Because lii yëpp mooy li nga xam ne moo bokk si dëkk bi te mun nañoo yokk sax other state-owned properties. For example, we can have a state-owned housing construct company so that we can have a state-owned housing company under the Social Security Housing Finance. We can have state-owned construction company for roads. We can have state-owned mining company, for example. Gis nga dëkk danga président bu ñëw danga def dara nga am ay law ay yi nga xam ne danga ko tëral keneen tamit ñëw muy yokk keneen tamit ñëw noonu la dëkk di doxee dafa mel ni kër gooy sampa waaye ku ñëw nga yaax ak government bii ne suñ demee tey liñ mortgage ak liñ def nii yëpp we all have to go back ku mën a toog nekk a président foog nga delluwaat nga seetaat contracts yi you have to look at this contract again and see how to withdraw some of these contracts. Because it makes no damn sense. Imagine a brick, you build brick para penye brick, you build a brick. But para you mandate la you on a brick because in your bill for the next 30 years, mun law fair bill or 20 years or whatever, mun law fair bill any other bridge, when you make some halis. Who sanctions a country like that? Who sanctions a country? Nga am a thing, we have oil. Ma talk suma office am ay Senegalese ñu ñëw suma office ne dañ am oil blocks and they are looking for rental because I do real estate ma dégg ne dañ am oil blocks from them ñu talk ñu ne am nañ diw amuñ dim but I know we have diw because if Senegal has diw if Mauritania has diw and maybe Guinea-Bissau then Gambia has diw because we are connected through here through Casamas we are connected so who are you fooling we all know Mansuma Masi, I've been Hamna Buyaga because I sat with people who came for those oil blocks. I know a lot about it, but of course I cannot disclose it here. But leave Ham and how to tackle it. Because the same way Mauritania signed an agreement and they have a share, and other countries that are right next to them, but Gambia, that is even closer, you want to tell us that we don't have oil? These are all resources. These are all state-owned. These are all state-owned. So, li ñoo def nii di jël lu nekk di ko mortgage is because dañ toog instead of we have also what we call human capital. We have the human capital. You yaa ngi nii amuñ liggéey. That is also an asset. We have an asset and we're not using that asset. Ndaw yi tey soo leen jëloon nga train leen company bu ñëw fii nga train leen even if it's 6 months training. They go for training, they come, they can work on these jobs. Instead, ngeen jël lu nekk di ko mortgage. Ñi ñëw di jël companies yi. Even su fekkee ne dañ leen ko jox. You mandate them to take your own people. Listen, when Senegal negotiated for their oil, they're getting how many percent? About 18%. But when you look at the 18%, what they're getting out of it, they're also charging tax to that company. They're also charging how many people are going to be employed. By the time all those fees are calculated together with that 18%, they're almost at 45%. They can no longer talk, they can talk, they can mass me. Why? Fee regular gis ne dañoo talk, duñ calculate. They just tell them 20%, they tell them, you make 200 million every year. They clap, they think it's a lot of money. No, it is not a lot of money. Because guess what? It is not for you, your personal gain, it's for the country. It takes billions of dollars to build a country. And for you to make those billions, then you have to capitalize on your state-owned companies. So the money is here. But we are too lazy to work. So because we are lazy to work, we feel that our other people, ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk si dëkk bi tamit, ñu xañ leen pour ñu liggéey, ñu jël yëpp ñu mortgage ko, ñu relax. That is what they are doing. It's easier. They took the easy route. Nañ leen bàyyi tubaab yi toog ci suba nañ leen bàyyi ñoom ñëpp ñu run things. Then every year dañoo fay fii 200 million fale suñu. So altogether suñu fayee $1 billion a year. It's very good. Because this is our cut under the table. Our 5% will come from all of this. We are collecting 5%. Everybody knows that these deals have a 5% cut. Ku xamul ni deals yi they make ñu ngi dëkk bitim réew we know what deals are. We've seen deals. All these deals have a 5% cut. So then ka xamutee ma wan leen ko tey. So as long as they're getting their 5%, they can care less. All these deals, if people that are listening know what I'm talking about, big businesses, there's always a 5% cut. And that is the reality. So that 5%, you know how much it is?
Thank you very much.
1.1 second ferry bank going make 1 billion or 1 point something billion. Per month or per year. Even if you take it per year, take 5% out of it and see how much that money is for somebody that never held a million before in their life.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just to remind you that you are listening to Freedom Radio News with your presenter Pamudu Jara and T-Boy. And our guest tonight is Mary Sok. Now I'll hand over the floor to T-Boy for him to ask the next question. T-Boy, you have the floor.
Yeah, jërëjëf pa. Jërëjëf honorable. Waaye honorable dinañ des ci question boobu parce que moo doon war a nekk di next question sax dama ko switch up. Assets yi yaa ngi wax affaire yi oil bi. Gis nañ ne oil bi time Jawara waaw Jawara si boppam sa amoon na time waxoon na loolu ñun mi fekkee time Jawara ba pare Yaya Jammeh bi mu gisee ne loolu la lefin bi mu teko over moom si boppam waxam yëpp ñun xamoon nañ ne
xam nga si la fa company boobu noonu ñëwoon fii nii waaye agree wuñ
waaw so because fa ñoom percentage yi bu pare woon a jox Yaya moom àndu si so noonu la affaire waaye nag ok bi baro toogee fa ñoom dañ ñu ngi deal ak lifin ñoom baro so oil bi mu ngi fa parce que oil bi ba Tammy Jawara dafa tuuti woon mu ngi dooroon so Jammeh ñëw ne moom loolu tax mu doon wax ne sax moom dina def Gambia comme Singapore because waaw so da nga gis ne ba pare BP waaw
investigate affaire gi mu gis ne déedéet actually we have a little more
right
understand
wow
so bi mu xamee a little more faa ñëw ñu bëgg a ko scam basically so ñu ñëw ne ko déedéet ñun léegi suñu ñooy dig ñun ñooy def everything because it's offshore ñun ñooy def everything so suñu diggee and everything this is how it's going to cost us a lot so lii rek lañ laa jox Yaya Jammeh bañ te dana déedéet dem jaral na ko du ko def
right exactly so
am company bi ko def
right exactly and BP ñoom it ñu ngi involve sax so da ngeen am na contracts yoo xam ne Gambien bi xamut ñun xam nañ ak ñeneen waaye oil moom mu ngi Gambia waaw
because they have oil blocks so how can you have oil blocks and we don't have oil
waaw ba pare honorable si question boobu tamit di same rek assets yi yaa ngi ko fi wax Gambia Ports Gamtel ne yéen seen agenda bi yooyu yëpp di ngeen change système bi institute yu bari social security housing finance ak comme ni nga ko waxee ne am na contracts yoo xam ne foog ñu di ngeen ko pare revoke waaye soo ñëwee si comme gis nañ afdaay fi mu nekk port bi ñu ko gën a extend ba pare ñu ngi gis ne port bi Turquie si lañ jox contract bi waaye contract bi waaw contract bi yow comme ni nga ko xamee rek ñun 20% la ñoo am foofu noonu
moom laa la doon wax ne port bi dañ ko jox ñii nii ba pare ñi ñu ko jox ñooñu qualify because they did not meet all the requirements Turkish yooyu noonu gis nga sooy bid dara dafa am loo xam ne daf dee nekk si bidding document bi
right
te bu nekk si bidding document da nga war dafa dee am requirements Man, we did contracts before in this Gambia. We had the road construction for Banjul Serekunda. So I see those contracts. Those contracts come with requirements. And when those contracts come with requirements, you, that is the bidder, you have to fulfill those requirements in order to get, once they approve you or once you get it, then now you have to fulfill these requirements because process like, don't you renew John correct start did it. Then you have to what I want in a while, lima one lila in the Amgali wow, Amgali wow, Amgali wow. Leg in the court. Why is it taking a yolinga one Amgako? Then in the machines, then in the lead, then in the lead, you know, Benson your Munuloko in the. How come Minister with them John waiver?
Right. So which means que ñom si yoy yep si sen deal na ñu la fi so ñu wessi fi napa bi tamit jox nañ ko Chinese yi Gambia ñun suñ sovereignty
mi nek bakaw ben Senegalese la bu amé ay company ñoo fi ne mu ne dafa am many companies from Spain. I know him. I used to speak Spanish with him. Mu ne different companies ñoo fi est-ce que am len mu ne mom dafa am different companies dafa billi bakaw dafa nek ni that's the whole thing dafa nek ni. They gave it to him for 30 years. I saw it and he showed it to me. I know a lot in this country. Dama noppi rek waaye noppi taxut ne xawma lii xew parce que nit ki tamit ñu ne booy dem guerre doo wane li nga am yëpp du noonu. So du yëpp nga mun a ñëw social media di ko wax. But what I know in this country and what I've seen and what I because I have an office where I meet all kinds of people and they talk to me day in, day out with things that I see on my table, but I can't reveal these things.
Right.
More than time will tell.
Okay. Jerejef, ma hand over to Pa. Jerejef, Honorable. Jerejef.
Thank you very much, Marisok, for answering that question. By looking at the infrastructure of this country, infrastructure yu nga xamne ne mom la government bi de spend xaalis lu mel ni comme di Banjul project OIC project bi soo seetee tamit suñu independent stadium bi tamit nga ñëw seet tamit bu nguuri Adama Barrow bi ñëwee tamit projet bu gaay defoon si airport bi ak yu demee noonu ak yeneen projets yu nga xam ne Gambian si ñi ngi joytu ne projets yooyu noonu dañ fail even though yeneen yi ibbi nañ leen waaye nga ñëw tamit seet tamit si suñu local government bi tamit ñu mel ni comme suñu municipality yi tamit gis nañ tamit Kanifing municipal council gis nañ fa projet bu nga xam ne building la taax la ni pour stars si fu ñoo nekka gis nañ tamit Banjul City Council tamit gis nañ projet foofu noonu tamit waaye tamit nag soo seetee tamit Brikama Area Council foofu noonu infrastructure bi nu mel nga ñëw seet Massakonko Area Council nga ñëw seet Basse Area Council Kuntawur Area Council Kerewan Area Council te ñii ñi yëpp dañuy am ay budget su nga xam ne at the end of the day dañ jee bind ne waaw spend nañ ko. How did you see the state expenditures in terms of building infrastructure?
It's all crap. There's no quality control because tey ma starté ko comme OIC bi ak OIC highway bi ñaata millions lañ joxe pour yoon bi ba pare nit ñi nekkuñ di laajte bu fekkee ne tey dañ allocate $400 million this is not the last for the highway and then maybe it's including a 4-star hotel 5-star hotel for $100 million and then the water sanitation for $20 million. We are not even talking about the $20 million for the water because we don't see it. The hotel, nobody's talking about it. But how much did they spend on this highway? It was supposed to be a 4-lane, it's 3 lanes. What is the quality of the highway? Understand that? Lanai quality of the highway. Sides, is it going to last us another 100 years? Or is it just going to last us 10 years or 15 years? How long is it going to last us for? Because contracts you know la deme. Tay contract ñep xam nañ ne building this infrastructure that you see people are going into, and the reason why they are focused on infrastructure, road construction, these are multi-million dollar projects. So cut B, the cut they are making on it, the 5% they are making on it, and also the side cut they are making on it is a lot. That is why they are focused on these infrastructures. Why swing pare building see airport right now, man don't travel during nawets. dafa tooy xepp, it was leaking all over. Waaye soo waxee nga am yenn Gambian si génn ne waaw waaye boo demee Europe am na yenn airport yu leak. Xaw ma ban Europe lañ dem parce que man airports yi ma tukki all over the world. I've traveled basically all the how do you call it, all over the continent, you know, and I have been to airports. I've never seen leakage in those airports. Xaw ma ban airport lañ tukki ñoom ba ñuy gis leakage pour war koo compare. You understand? Airport baa ngee leak. Airport toilet see they're under par. Everything is mediocre. Everything is and Gambians are so happy to just they settle. Dafa mel ni bëgguñ sax lu baax, you know, bëgguñ lu baax. Bañ suñ tukkee ñu door a gis lu baax ñu ne ndeke nii la lu baax war a mel. And that is sad because the ones that are here that are voting, they don't understand that these are mediocre. Let me give you an example. Today, the NPP bureaus are better built than those so-called hospitals that they say they built in the villages. The NPP bureaus that they built are better built. You have people that are living in shacks, and you come right in the middle of nowhere and build a beautiful bureau. But then the people that are dancing and clapping, you know how the So what are you talking about infrastructure? This is not what we call infrastructure. These are just money making contracts. They do infrastructure. Even poly solar lights, motor super tampone rek mu daan. That means the material they use is of cheaper grade. Because poly lampa dega. The flame dega su ko motor tampone motor bi moy yahu. Hardly you see that. But of course, there's different grades. So they make China different grades of an egg. They let it lie whether this is for America or for Africa. So you also get Kotsi Harris, then yes, it's for Africa. They give you the lower grade. So Hananyun, we are not deserving of better. And Gambians are not deserving of better. Everything is mediocre. But infrastructure. What do people call infrastructure? Do they know what infrastructure is? Go to Senegal, you'll see infrastructure. Just Senegal. You don't have to go far. Just go to Senegal. You will see infrastructure. These people, they're not building. They're making money. All this road construction is all money. It's all business. Because give it 25 years. That's not how. So the next president that is coming, this same highway, they can put sides here, sides here. Look at the gutters. We have to do the finishing. Some of them, the areas are not finished. They dig everywhere. Meanwhile, Senegal is same side streets as New Cotton. Highway is not properly finished. So what are you talking about? If 4 lane, they bring it to 3 lane. Do you know how much of that 400 million that they cut off? A 3 lane and 4 lane is two different things. Both the side, they say highway, a flyover. How many flyovers were there? Link you one, the TV or the video they showed us of how the road was going to be is not what we have right now. And then go and look at the roundabouts. It's a sorry sight. There's no flowers, no greenery, no nothing. I don't know, the family be in a village, you have a few roads. Go to Nigeria, you go to Abuja and stuff. No, honestly, and you ask yourself whether Gambians don't want better. We love beautiful house, we love beautiful cars.
Wow.
But those beautiful cars and house have to go with the environment.
Wow, but the video bi sax moy li nga wax rek video bi lim ñu won, you know, li gaay jagar ni mo warona mel. Ak liñ jagar is totally different.
Gambia dafa mel ni Gambia su dañ fàtte dañ gaaw a fàtte. Go back to the video they sold to the people. Go back to those videos that they sold how the road was going to be. Time boobu ku ko xool sax yaa ngi xalaat su ma amee xaalis maa ngi indi suma Lamborghini maa ngi I'm gonna bring, but look at the road now. Demal si roundabout si rek demal nga dem si roundabout bi.
Yeah, it caused a lot of accident.
Thank you. You ngi mel ni ku nekk naka tuddaati naka la place boobu nekk Sénégal naka la tuddaati you know, in those days, how Sandaga used to look. Now Sandaga is even nice.
Yeah. But honorable, there are no cameras there. Instead, ñun suñu highway, the highway is a highway because you know speed la. Okay, then need no police to be there. You just have to pick a camera, you know, station bang lifin ñepp ñu ngi somebody's there. There are people there walking, you know, and all those halis bobu nonu yeb lolu I'm sure budget nañ ko ci tamit. So you know instead now police ñoo nekk ba pare police ñooy cause accident yi sax.
Yaay Jammeh try on na mu def traffic light, right? Te loolu tamit dafa nekk ci loo xam ne officiel ñoo daan def traffic light. Gis nga companies yi fi nekk when a country boo xam ne companies yi dañoo ñëw pour invest. Dafa am advantage.
They have to contribute.
There's some say that again.
I said they have to then contribute when they are investing.
It's not about contribute, it's their corporate responsibilities.
Right.
Gis nga corporate responsibilities. Soo demee Sénégal di nga gis company boo xam ne mandate nañ ko mu build stadium, mandate nañ ko mu build a school, mandate nañ ko mu def yoon, mandate nañ ko mu def lii. These are corporate responsibilities. Loolu def dee dimbale sax yow government bi.
Exactly.
Africell was the one contributing by doing the traffic lights. Te loolu li xew companies yooyu li dee xew mooy dañ leen a mandate ne okay, these are your corporate responsibilities. So for the next 10 years or so and so, at the same time, you have to employ about 100 Gambians, 100 youths or 200 youths based on the capacity of your company. Then based on that, you have tax break. You said, okay, we will give you tax break. Why unfortunately here, let's just take for example a company like Africell. You know, okay, we'll do this. Charge them tax high. But every time nga dem fofu nga gis moto big man yi ku nekk nga dem di jël envelope so at the end of the day Africell they have to make their money back because it's not a free company,
right?
So ñoom tamit ñu ngi joxe ci ron ñu ngi joxe ci kaw ñu ngi joxe fii ñu ngi joxe I'm just giving that as an example,
right?
But ñu ngi pay high tax. So how are they going to maximize on the people that they employ? And also, how are they going to contribute and fulfill their corporate responsibilities when the people are going there and all the time begging? Why ku fekkee ne tey da nga am government boo xam ne kenn da nga mandate ku fa ñëw ñaan wax ñu ko we will lock them up because you don't do that. Why nga mandate company bi mu employ certain amount of Gambians nga jox ko a tax break. But at the same time, they will pay into the social security of that employee. They'll pay into the housing of that employee. Basically, the person will work and have some benefits. Understand that? Even internships and job training. And then now you give them a tax break so that they can employ some of your youths. And then you give them their corporate responsibilities. Corporate responsibilities can be negotiated based on how many youths they have and what over the course of years. Because companies will be established. The FIDE Yaga. So you can say, okay, from the next 5 years, I want this and this to be done. For the next so and so, you give them long-term and short-term goals. Very simple. You make sense. Internet dina yomba, data telephone calls dina yomba because can them di ñaan. So pour ma simplify ko pour askan bi nga xam ne mu ngi déglu dafa mel ni jaaykati gerte bi. Tey kii jaay gerte su fekkee ne poti gerte $100 la. Waaye yow yaa ko abal mu toog fii si place bi. Why every day so hey because mu ngi toog sa place yaa ngi ko jox mu toog foofu noonu yaa ngi xëy di ko ñaan gerte so by time sa family all your family dem di ko ñaan gerte léegi mu ngi la may almost $100 worth of gerte léegi $100 poti gerte boobu mu war a jaay $100 dafa am pour yokk ko 200 lu tax mu war koo def 200 because mu ngi la war a may 100 so at the end of the day she has to make up for it somehow so her price has to be high. It's the same thing with everything. Bagage su ñëwee si port loo xam ne amul price ñu ñëw charge la tey nga indi container ñu charge la $2,000 next time nga indi container ñu charge la $3,000 wala ñu charge la $4,000 yow tam nga génn foog nga yokka sa price kii jaay tamit yokka price because yaa ngi bribe even though charge la xëy na yaa ngi fay li nga fay waaye ñëpp a ngi bugga li jox ma foofu dara nga mayee si sa bagage yi mayee fi because yaa ngi bugga rek sa bagage yi génn by the time you come you have to add those to your price you have to put those li nga mayee da nga am pour dugalaat
right jërëjëf Pa I hand over.
Thank you very much, Tijan. I think I don't know whether who needs a small break because we have engaged almost 1 hour plus. I don't think it is not easy. It consumes a lot of energy.
But Gambia, so what's that affair Gambia? You need 2 to 3 hours because Gambia liko lim omba desan dafa bari. Te nit yi so gisee sax soo demee TikTok live dangaa dem rek for 130 minutes or 1 hour nga end up talk for 3-4 hours because everybody's concerned, everybody's just wanting Gambia to move and people are frustrated. So it's not a discussion of just 1 hour. Dafa meeting. Li war a wax dafa bari. Wow.
Dégg ba pare am na ñu ma text sax am na ñu laajte ay questions waaye boobu at the end lañ la ko jox am na questions yu gars yi di text di laajte tamit ok ñu dem ñu ngi am nañ another 45 minutes
Okay, then I only remains with
dañoo yokk araw si because gars yi ne li nga wax mu ngi interesting trop waaw non waaye politicien yi na ñoom du ñu charge nag kon boobu moom ñu changeaat constitution bi ok Pa continue ok ñu yeah
Tija, I
go ahead.
Have four more questions.
Mm-hmm. Hello?
Wow, Pa dafa mel ni ne sa connection bi mu ngi xaw a dem nag connection am bi la allo Pa Modou yaa ngi maa dégg
more question, but still now I'll give you the 4 more questions to ask. Let me. I'm not dégg ba mu ngi leer ana yéen a maa dégg.
Waaw ñu ngi laa dégg yaa ngi ñëw clair fi mu nekk waaw.
Ok man maa ngi dese ñeneenti question laa dese waaye ba tey dina la jox floor bi yow nga ask sa next question bi again.
Wow, okay. Next question be very short la rek gis nañ ne honorable Gambia audit seen shocking revelation si gaay génne yow si sa xalaat rek ba pare ma yokk si rek boole si tamit Gambia public transportation time Jawara gis nañ ne time Jawara ñu ngi amoon GPTC di nga mun a jënd monthly card di nga mun a travel daal ak boss yi boss stop sax amoon na la lay sa xalaat access bi waaw comme like
waaw xam nga citizen bu nekk xam nga lii yëpp ci right ci citizen la boo waxee right ci citizen the right of the citizen is to have access to go to school, access to go to the hospital, access to go to the market. Lii moom lañ dee ooyee rights, part of your rights. Why Gambia right now, ñun bi ñoo mag di dem school, dañ daan dugga bus. You understand? We had school buses. Xale yi dañ am seen own school bus, public bi tamit am own public transportation. Why right now, ñun toog nañ fii ñu gis last time before election, ñaata buses lañ gis président bi ñu ne wàccee ne ñaata buses. Kenn gisatul buses yooyu. I don't know whether the buses just, disappeared in thin air.
Wow, 20 buses. Wow, Turkey ñoo ñu ko may, Turkey.
Wow, 20 buses. Then why amoon nañ tamit yeneen foog naa gisoon naa Mr. Jah xaw ma Mohamed Jah, I think there was some buses as well. There's always buses for some reason. There's always so many buses.
Wow.
Then di nga gis nataal yi, di nga gis buses yi, di nga gis because fii everything dañ ko dee inaugurate, dañ dee inaugurate bus, dañ dee inaugurate phone, dañ dee inaugurate everything. Afterwards, after the inauguration, you don't see anything anymore. You understand? Mm-hmm. So, ana buses yooyu tey fu mu nekk nii su fekkee ne ñu doon am buses since time Jawara ba Yaya Jammeh ñëw ñuy am buses tey dañ waroon a am more buses. That means more people having access to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
waaye fii most of bosses yi nga gis mooy bi nga xam ne bi consistent mooy Banjul Sénégal boobu moo gën a consistent ci bosses yi.
waaw.
Tanka ñaari loxo ñu ngi able we can manage, but what about those people that are unable? They have zero access in this country. Dafa mel ni bokkuñ sa ci society bi waaye bu time yi vote am ñëpp dem pour waxtaan ak ñoom di leen may lii di leen jox iftar ak yooyu yëpp pour ñu ñëw vote, but right after the voting we forget about those people as if they're not citizens in the Gambia. Gambia is a man bi man nekkee fii ba léegi li ma study si Gambia dama ko bañ bi damaa ñëw apart from ni ñu ñëw wax ma la wala ma dem meeting ma ñëw aw ma benn envie génna because when I go out by the time I come I'm upset. Sometimes I ask myself, what am I even doing here? Because everything is so sad and I am just one person. I cannot help everybody. Munuma ko sax waaye dafa miti yaa ngi am yoon yaa ngi bil yoon fale demal si yoon yooyu noonu you see one car pass by the time you see the next car afterwards the cows are sleeping on the road. Cows yee xar yi dañ miin yoon ba nga xam ne yow boo demee sax it's like yow you are trampling on their privacy. They're not for you. The access is not for you because there's no public transportation. The gale yi private owned la. They're not government owned. The taxis are private owned. Where are the buses? Ana buses yi tey mënoon nga am bus mënu nga taxaw ne da nga bëgg a dem base mën nga am bus bu am AC bu la yóbbee base nga ñëw. In America you have that. You have Greyhound buses. Some people don't like to fly, so they are scared.
Right, mbokk yi ñoo déglu ñu ngi si fii Freedom Radio man la seen moderator T-Boy Tijuana here ba pare ñu ngi am Pa Modou mooy seen presenter.
Gambia is a man bi man nekkee fii ba léegi li ma study si Gambia dama ko bañ bi damaa ñëw apart from ni ñu ñëw wax ma la wala ma dem meeting ma ñëw aw ma benn envie génna because when I go out by the time I come I'm upset. Sometimes I ask myself, what am I even doing here? Because everything is so sad and I am just one person. I cannot help everybody. Munuma ko sax waaye dafa miti yaa ngi am yoon yaa ngi bil yoon fale demal si yoon yooyu noonu you see one car pass by the time you see the next car afterwards the cows are sleeping on the road. Cows yee xar yi dañ miin yoon ba nga xam ne yow boo demee sax it's like yow you are trampling on their privacy. They're not for you. The access is not for you because there's no public transportation. The gale yi private owned la. They're not government owned. The taxis are private owned. Where are the buses? Ana buses yi tey mënoon nga am bus mënu nga taxaw ne da nga bëgg a dem base mën nga am bus bu am AC bu la yóbbee base nga ñëw. In America you have that. You have Greyhound buses. Some people don't like to fly, so they are scared.
kooku mooy Mari Sock mbokk yi ñoo déglu ñu bàyyi leen ba beneen yoon jërëjëf si déglu bi dinañ amaat Mari Sock beneen yoon fii incha allah pour second round su ko defee ñu continuer affaire yi Gambia ak affaire yi problèmes yi ñoo am si Gambia incha allah till next time di leen wax ne nekk leen si jàmm.